What's good, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel, guys. This video is for some of you teachers out there, and this is a really quick video that I want to discuss with you for those of you that don't have access or don't have, the money, the dinero, the budget for buying, supplies for activities, for games, for certain practices for your English class. These are essentially English activities that you can do without materials or barely any materials. So without further ado, let's get started. Alright, the first game or activity that I like to implement in a lot of my lessons, if I don't have materials, and this one can be done very easily without really anything. This is a verbal activity. So let's say you're putting sentences together, okay? And these are very simple sentences usually. So the name of the game is Two Truths and One Lie. So meaning that the students are going to say 3 sentences and 2 of them are true and 1 of them is the lie. The other students, now you can break them up into groups. Essentially, first they can practice with their partner, and then you can break them up into groups and then even teams to compete. Okay, so this is a great game that has kind of a variety of ways to go about it, and you can really kind of make levels with it to extend your lesson. The great thing is you actually don't really need any materials for this activity. It's pretty much all verbal. So 3 sentences, and so they have to guess. So 3 sentences, and the student will tell the partner or other students the 3 sentences, and they have to guess what is the lie, the one lie. Let's say you're talking about, let's say things you like and dislike, the like and dislike lesson. I'm just using this as a simple example, but this game can be applied to quite a few lessons if you think about it. Any lesson that they can really say practice using or making 3 sentences. I'll give you an example. I like chocolate. I like to go hiking. I like doing Muay Thai. Which one is the lie? This is not really anything relevant to me, but actually I like all those things. It's not really any of them a lie, but I don't really do Muay Thai, even though I'm interested in it, so that one would probably be the lie. If you guys guessed that, then thumbs up for you. Give this video a like right now. Just kidding. Get a prize from your teacher. I don't know. Oh, this one's for the teachers, I forgot. But you get what I'm saying. So if we're making this a competition, let's say you broke them up into teams now. They did it in small groups, and let's say you put them in like groups of 4 or 5, and they each had to present to the group. Okay, so now you broke the class into 2 teams, and when I use this activity in Vietnam, I like to make it fun. So I let the students, when they're in teams, I let each team choose their own name. But let's say, sometimes students aren't the most upbeat and most creative off the bat. I give them some fun team names to start off. So for example, in Vietnam, I said, okay, Team Hanoi and then Team Saigon. I split them into North and South, okay? So North was Hanoi and South was Saigon. They got a kick out of that, they start laughing, and then the next round, they pick their own names. You can really make this a really fun activity, and then when they guess right or they guess wrong, give them a point. And then you also need to remember the time management. So make sure that it's timed, and make sure that they're not making it too ridiculous or too short. If they're making it too short, maybe you can give them a guideline of the sentence. So they need to say why, they need to give an example for instance. Moving on. So that was 2 truths and 1 lie. The next is describing and guessing. So this is really great with adjective lessons. So this is really great with lessons that use adjectives that describe. For example, I'm going to talk about the lesson with personalities, guessing characteristics. This is a very fun game that I like to play with this lesson. Anything that really has adjectives, they're going to play a game to describe something that they're thinking, but the other person, the one who's listening, has to guess what that is. If we're talking about personalities, there's a game I play with my students, which is where you have to think of a famous person and then describe them, and the listener has to guess who it is. For example, I'm thinking about this person right now. This person is very rich. He has his own tower in Chicago. He's currently a leader of a country, and he has a very unique, and perhaps most people will say, he has a very crazy hairstyle, and he wants to build a wall around the country. You probably guessed it. Yeah, that's right. I'm thinking of Donald Trump. I get this all the time from being American. They're always like, oh, so what about Donald Trump? Oh, what about Trump? Oh, you're American? Oh, Trump, 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 Trump. You know, okay, Trump, you know. So notice that I describe him using adjectives. He's rich, he's hardworking, he's not nice. I don't know. He's arrogant, he's not nice. Okay. Notice I use some adjectives. So you can let them use adjectives, and to make it not stale or flat, let them also describe them using alternative sentences. So like they can use extra information. So notice I said he has his own tower, he wants to build a wall around the country, he is a leader of the country. So this is extra information. But essentially you have to challenge them to use at least 2 to 3 of the adjectives that you're teaching, okay? So by doing this, they're playing a game but also practicing the necessary adjectives. And the best way to learn new vocabulary is to practice it as much as possible, because if you don't use it, well, you lose it. Well, if you don't use it, you'll forget it. And the more you use it, well, the more it becomes a habit, and habit you remember. To learn the new vocab, make your students remember, is to make them practice it as much as possible when you introduce it, and to continue on and forward with that. Anything with the adjective where you're describing something, again, you're going to play the game again where they're describing it. You can play this with their partner first, then with small groups of 4 or 5 students, and then finally you can break them up into teams and make it a competition where there's points. So similar to the last game, 2 truths and 1 lie. The last thing, this is quite a common game actually, and this is, I think, what they call charades. Maybe when you introduce vocabulary that has action, or when you're describing, or sentences that talk about an action, activity, or event, this is essentially where the person physically acted out and the students have to guess what it is, but they guess it by using the vocabulary. So let's say, for example, we talk about activities, activity vocabulary lesson, or sports. So the person's going to be acting it out. So for example, what am I doing right now? What sport is this? So for some of you, this is a very famous and popular sport in America. So if you know this, you guessed it right. It's baseball. I did the action and you guys guessed what it is, baseball. So again, you can play this and with your partners first, then small groups, and then as a team. So break them up into 2 teams and see who can get the most points. So you probably noticed that competition is key here. I did say this is without materials, but if you're doing a competition, there probably needs to be a prize. So essentially, if you have nothing to give, like a chocolate or something like that, you know, you can give them some extra free time to do something, to have fun, or like, you know, no homework on Friday, for example. Okay, so guys, I really hope that you found this video useful. This is again for the teachers, for some of you guys that don't have access or just don't have the money, the budget, the dinero, or just for whatever reason you don't have materials right now and you need something quick and fun and simple for students to engage with, and an activity to go along with your lesson. So I hope these 3 activities again, the first, 2 truths, 1 lie. The second, describing and guessing what it is, particularly with adjectives. The third, acting or charade. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please give this video a like, subscribe if you haven't already. Comment below if there's any games or ideas you guys have that don't require any materials or barely any materials to use. Anyways guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please hit the notification bell for more videos like this, and I'll see you guys in the next one.